This is Believe in Georgia Dogs Podcast on the Believe Podcast Network.
Scored a touchdown earlier on a direct snap. Now it's Michelle's turn, running all the way. Gets to the edge. Sonny Michelle will send the Dogs home to the championship game.
53.5-yard drive near hash, kick right, snap, hold, kick is away, it's reaching, and it is good, good, good. Hot Pod does it. All right, Hot Pod.
Robots with an up and out, wide open. Touchdown. Israel Troupe.
All right, what is up? Welcome to the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Also coming at you from Brinks TV. Joining me, as always, is my man over here, Israel Troupe. Israel, what's up, dude?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Not a whole lot, man. We got a guest coming on board. I'll let you introduce our guest here.
Yes, we have a very, very special guest. He is one of the biggest Auburn fans that I know, a very good friend of mine, and they have some of the best headsets all across the United States. My man, Dann Rogers from Coach Com. What's up, Dan?
Appreciate it, Israel. Glad to be on here. Appreciate you guys having me on. Saw that highlight of you catching that pass. What was that, 2009?
I had lots of surprises for you today.
There you go.
Yeah. Cody Burton would have caught a touchdown pass early in that game. You might not have been able to be the hero right there.
Oh, man, I love it. Welcome, Dan. I'm glad you could join us. And, man, Coach Com is I might make the switch here pretty soon. We, don't hold it against me, but I inherited Portaphone. So
hey, we can get you some. Holler at me.
Yeah, let's make that happen. So after our sales pitch, though, Dan brings the Auburn perspective. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. We're going to recap. Last week's action, including that win down in Tiger Stadium, down in Death Valley. Also that beatdown of the Hogs. We're going to give a little Auburn, Georgia preview. We're going to make our picks. We're going to see if Dan can beat us. So far, Israel is the man when it comes to picks. Israel, don't let that go to your head, though. All right. But we are presented by betonline.ag. It is the best way to – it's best and better than ever. It's your number one spot for all pro and college football action this season with the new and updated site and interface and even more odds, props, and contests. BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. So head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus from football, basketball, boxing, and right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline is where the game starts. Now, Dan, are you much of a bettor? Some people are, some people aren't.
I'm not really a gambler. Not been much of my thing. Honestly, I think it's kind of frowned upon in my profession, so I kind of stay away from it.
I hear that, man. I hear that. Well, this episode is brought to you by Coach Com also. So talk about Coach Com and the impact that it makes on in the coaching world.
Yeah, we do 98% of the Division I markets headsets. I mean, we have the premier headset systems, and we've got multiple levels, D1 all the way down. Israel's one of my best customers. He came to me this past spring, and we worked it out. He's used us everywhere he's been. It's just very good products. We're always going to be there for you, and our customer service is second to none. We're always going to take care of you. If you ever need anything, you can call us. We'll take care of you.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I kind of looked into it for a minute, but then I realized that we had some brand new headsets waiting on me when I got to Hillwood. So we're getting a new school in a couple of years, so maybe that'll be part of the budget. What's the newest model? What are the good things about that?
The newest model would be the Cobalt Plus. It's what we use. It's the most popular high school system, most bang for your buck. It's what Israel and them got over at Monroe. It's what they're using down at Benedictine, just to name a couple. It's very, very popular. 900 megahertz, same frequency we use at the D1 level. It comes with the same headset that you see the D1 coaches wearing. So you're getting the same headset, same Coach Com quality across the board. And you also got, Coach Com's customer support if you ever need anything.
Awesome. What's the setup like on that?
Nothing. It's the Cobalt Plus, you turn it on. The head coach has one button to push. He's going to select whether he's home or away, which is a setting we have from the Division I all the way down. So basically what you do, head coach turns his on. He designates whether he's home or away, which is easy to do. You know that. You should know that. Mm-hmm. And they do that, and you're ready to go. You turn your talk button on, and then you don't really have to do anything else. And it's also got up to 6 channels. So if you want to have secondary offensive and defensive channels, we can do that. And it's also got a player receiver that comes with it. I think, Israel, I believe I sent you a couple of those player receivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have one for our quarterback, one for our linebacker, kind of like the NFL, that we use at practice. It comes great, especially in the spring when we were doing an install. So your quarterback, you can talk to your quarterback literally from the headset. He can only hear you, which is great. And the quarterback, and the linebacker can hear the defensive coordinator. So it helped with getting calls out fast and, no huddle type stuff, huddle type situations worked out great.
Don't put it in the helmet. Don't put it in the helmet.
Don't put it in the helmet.
Don't put it in the helmet.
Noted. It may or may not find its way in. So
I got my camera a little screwed up here.
Cool.
Sorry, guys.
Get my light on here. Didn't have my light on there for a second. All right. Awesome. Well, the Coach Com, man, it's great. And I'm getting I got to get on Israel's level here when it comes to lighting. So, but week 5 is behind us. It's in the rear view now. Week 6 is coming up. Lots of great games from week 5. Want to talk about a top 10 matchup that pertains to us. It was the demolition of the Hogs. That's what we got here. If you want to follow us on social media, just look further down below, and you can see it scrolling. So, Israel, what stood out to you most about this domination of Arkansas?
The fact that they couldn't get a snap off. Now, I know that Kirby called out everybody to the stadium, and I know it was loud and everything like that, but, Arkansas is coming in after a big win against Texas A&M, knocking off Texas, which, is Texas, but Texas plays a pretty good ball now. But to come into Sanford Stadium and we just take them out just that fast, I was pretty surprised by that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the crowd just affected the game as much as possible, man. It was outstanding. I was impressed with how well we were able to run the ball, and how well and doing it in the sense that Arkansas was going to know that we were doing it. They knew it was coming, and we still crammed it down the throat. Stetson really didn't have to put the game on his shoulders like we've asked him to do in the past. It was really just kind of take shots when we needed it, take the few passes and take advantage of what they were giving us, and really just run the ball, play defense, and just jump on them. And then that big special teams touchdown, that helped as well.
Most definitely. It was more so it was telling Coach Pittman, we really appreciate these linemen that you helped recruit. I think that's the game plan. Let's show Coach Pittman we really appreciate these linemen that you helped us get into Georgia. We're about to show you how we're going to use them.
Absolutely. And did he ever, man. It was a great performance from an offensive line that really just hadn't figured out its true identity or its true mix, because I think they're still wanting to get Sawyer down in the guard spot, and they did some. But, for an offensive line that really just – I don't want to say couldn't find their way because they've played well all year, but, I just didn't feel like this offensive line was its best combination it could be yet. And that's the scary part about this offense.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Me and Dan talked earlier this week because we were kind of previewing this matchup already. And we said it, and everybody's going to say it. This game's going to be run in the trenches. We kind of know what everybody's got in the secondary, but that front 7 that they have, and then our 5 guys up front and running backs in pass protection as well. It's going to be a showdown on Saturday night. or Saturday afternoon at 3:30.
That's right.
Fortunately, I want it to be a night game, but
yeah, absolutely. I bet you do. I mean, Jordan Hare, and we'll get to it in a little bit. But
oh yeah.
What stood out to you about this game, about Arkansas, about Georgia, about what stood out
to me was what I thought was going to happen. I told Israel this last week that Arkansas is one-dimensional. If KJ Jefferson's at all banged up, that's exactly what was going to happen. They couldn't use him. They couldn't utilize him. And I'm not sure it would have mattered if he was 100%.
Right.
Because Georgia just sold out right there and dared them to throw the football, and they could not do it.
Mm-mm.
I didn't understand the game plan, though, from Kendall Browse. It almost was like watching a little bit of Gus Malzahn.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to throw it. Look, Georgia's front seven is probably the best I've seen in 10 years. But I get trying to get it off quick, but at some point you're going to have to take a shot, and they never tried to.
I mean, South Carolina was able to get shots off against us. Josh Vann caught a couple of deep balls.
They just never tried.
Yeah, and they should have, because you have Treylon Burks, and he can stretch a field. He can stretch somebody vertically, and they
played scared. They played very scared.
They were rattled, especially.
Oh, those first two plays when they couldn't get a play off.
That
was it for me. I was like, this is
it. Hell yeah. I'm thinking, oh God, they're screwed. They can't, I mean, if they're gonna get down 14-0 just like that, and they're gonna be up.
They're gonna give a lot of people trouble, though. They'll give us trouble in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I mean, this is to me, I don't think you can really fairly judge Arkansas on this game. I mean, Georgia's done this to a lot of opponents. They did it to Clemson. I still think they ruined DJ Ungulale. I think I got that right, didn't I?
He has not come back at all. And I covered the West Coast for Coach Com when that guy was the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's not the same guy that I saw out there.
It wasn't even the same guy that we saw
against Notre
Dame last year.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Boy. He got PTSD bad, boy.
Yeah, he does. They can't score to save their freaking lives. And it's killing them. And the biggest thing with Clemson is losing Travis Etienne as well. That might have been their biggest loss. But for Arkansas's sake, man, they're a physical football team. They're going to play people tough. They're going to get after you. They're going to. I mean, I think when they feel like they're in a better situation, like on the road against what a lot of people deem to be the number one team in the country, just. It doesn't have the little number one by their name because Alabama keeps doing the same thing Georgia does. But it's a tough environment. And it's a tough environment for a quarterback that's never played in an environment like that. It's tough for a coach that really – you can't really say that Sam Pittman has coached in an environment like that as a head coach making decisions. And that team – his team, I know some of those players have probably played in those scenarios back in 2019, but 2020 was an odd year. There was no fans. It was the environments were odd. It wasn't the same. So
Pittman's going to be fine over there.
Yeah, he's going to turn the damn jukebox on, and we're going to be all right. So, they'll be good. They're going to continue to be trouble. They're probably third or fourth team they're best in the West there, and
I'd put them ahead of a lot of people right now.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't wait to see them play against Mississippi State, Arkansas, or not Arkansas, Mississippi State, LSU. I want to see what they do against Auburn. I want to see what they do against Alabama. I want to, I want to see these matchups because I think they're going to give them fit.
I want to see what they do against Ole Miss this weekend because both them teams are coming off games they should have been in.
Embarrassing losses to what people were expecting both of those games to be. What was Ole Miss was down 21-0 before the first quarter was over with.
They got a couple of gimmies there towards the end of the game that made it look better, but it was
total domotion. I mean, it was 35-0 at one point. I mean, it was when Kiffin said get your popcorn ready and threw the headset at the seat, I was like, oh boy, this is gonna get ugly. and then they ripped it right down the field. I'm thinking, okay, Ole Miss, here we go. And then all of a sudden they didn't get that fourth down, and Alabama just said, all right, see ya. And they put them away. And Alabama this week, you can tell Alabama learns because they did this 2 weeks ago against Florida, did not put Florida away, let Florida back in the game and almost lost it. Lucky for them, Florida just can't do it. But this time they didn't even leave it to chance. They just said, okay, to hell with it. We're going to go up 30. We're going to put you away early so that you can't come back. And
exactly.
And this is exactly what they did. And it was impressive. I mean, they just gashed runs. They hit shots over the top. They hit intermediate catch and runs. I mean, Alabama really couldn't make a mistake on Saturday. It was a thing of beauty.
I know, and I'm pretty sure the talk at practice was, do you remember what happened to you last year? Which Ole Miss should have beat Alabama last year. In all honesty, they really should have beat them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'm pretty sure that was a talk all week. Remember what they did? I'm pretty sure they had it playing throughout the whole entire locker room of the game from last year. Because if it was me, and I think I know Nick said he had it playing the whole game.
Yeah.
Because he always been talking about complacency all week. And yes, they weren't complacent Saturday night.
No, they weren't. They were on a mission. And I guarantee you they watched film. They probably had, punishment runs all off season and all that week where, they had to do something for every yard or something for every point. That seems to be the thing to do in college. But they were ready. They weren't, and they didn't let up either. And it was awesome. And I'm not usually one that's like, yeah, Alabama, yeah. But at some point you have to appreciate just how talented they are and how good they are, and just year in and year out, it doesn't matter who's there. They're going to do that. They're going to do what they do.
You got a wide receiver from Canada.
Yeah, come on. It's just at this point, man, you just have to say, we just got to wait till Saban retires.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, finally got it.
There you go. Did you watch the Florida-Kentucky game? That was on right before.
Well, I watched every bit of it up until the best part, the last 2 minutes, because Auburn switched over to ESPN News.
Yeah.
Florida's got issues.
Yes, they do.
And they've got the issues that Mullen has had everywhere he's been. Is they'll play really good football against a team they have no business playing really good football against. Mm-hmm. And then they'll come out and lose a game like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kentucky does some things to help themselves out. They have some firepower. They have Wan'Dale Robinson. They've got
a really good quarterback.
And they've got a really good quarterback. But I said coming into this game that I was about to be done with Kentucky because they can't take care of the football. And I was like, this is going to do them in. I mean, this is a fairly easy spread because they can't take care of the football. And lo and behold, it's a blocked punt going the other way that wins them the game. They're not a punt, field goal. I'm sorry, field goal. Misspoke there. Wrong special team. But, it was a block kick. Ironically enough, a turnover for 6 is what actually helped Kentucky in this case. And, man, they had Florida's number. They had them figured out. They had – I thought they had a great game plan against Emory Jones. I thought they did really well bottling up the run game for the most part. And, Florida chewed up some yards, but they were empty yards, and did you see the quote where they asked Dan Mullen if he felt like he was out coached, and he made some comparison of the yards and was like, yeah, right.
Let me tell you something, and I'm a firm believer in this because it happened to us Friday night. No matter how many yards you have, unless you're putting points on the board, you got out-coached. That's just my opinion. Yeah. You can march the ball up and down the field. If you're not putting points on, I'm talking about not field goals, because field goals can get you beat. I'm talking about touchdowns. If you aren't putting the ball past that little white line with all the nice little painting and stuff in it, then you're going to get beat. So in my opinion, I think Dan Mullen didn't have an answer sometimes. From watching that game, he didn't have an answer for some of the things that Kentucky was doing. And Dan said, it happens far more often than it should with Dan Mullen.
Absolutely. And
another thing too that is happening is Kentucky actually has a pretty good home field advantage when they have a good football team.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That crowd gets loud in the grocery bag. It's
There
not a
you
big
go.
stadium, but it gets loud.
The grocery bag. I love it, man. I love that you're completely adopting. I use that term a lot.
Oh, I know. I listened to you
awesome.
earlier today when
Oh, did
I was
you?
coming on.
There you go.
So,
He did it.
I did my
He did
homework.
his homework. Dan, I love it, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Doing your homework. Yeah, the big grocery bag is definitely. I said it's a really tough environment. It's the crowd can feel like they're suffocating you. They're right there on top of you. They're loud. Kentucky fans are passionate. They don't call it Catlanta for a reason.
Oh, good
No,
Lord.
for no reason. Yeah, it's Catlanta, man. And they're starting to get that way about football, which is scary. Did you guys see Tennessee?
Wow.
Where did that come
Yeah.
from? I didn't think they could score 62 points on air in practice.
Is
They put it on
Heupel possibly that
Missouri.
good?
Holy shit.
He's that good, I think. He found his dude in Hendon Hooker. I think he's that good.
I said it in our podcast last week.
I've been trying to tell you guys.
If Hooker plays, Tennessee's going to win the football game. I said it.
And
I thought Missouri was better than that.
I thought I didn't think Missouri was going to win that game. I thought Tennessee was going to sneak up and get them. But that, come on, Missouri.
Man.
I mean, come on, Drinkwitz. You lose that game at home like that. Wow.
Talk about getting exposed. You got exposed bad.
Oh, hell yeah, you
bad.
That's very bad.
real bad. I think Tyon Evans just scored another touchdown, by the way.
Yeah.
So that game was surprising, and I've been surprisingly high on the Tennessee Vols. I know a lot of people aren't, but I've been from day one. I was like, when they hired Heupel, I was like, I better watch out. You people making fun of this hire, better watch out. I mean, he's not going to win a lot of games this year.
I was one of them.
Well, he's not going to win a lot of games this year. It's not going. It's not going to. The appearance is not like their win-loss record is not going to be what like everybody's going to be like. Oh, it's a bust. Like
He seems to be missing in Central Florida, doesn't he?
Yep,
Yes.
they're missing him there.
I knew
sure.
you was going to throw a jab in there. I knew it. I knew you were going to do it. I felt it coming.
but yeah, man, he's good. He I was like, they're going to score some points. They're going to make things look exciting. They're not going to be the worst team in the East.
Yeah.
I mean,
Here's the scary thing about Tennessee right now. They're playing hard.
Very
That's
hard.
the scary part about Tennessee. They're playing hard right now. And we all know if there's usually one team outside of Florida that can give us trouble, it's Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. And we get them. We go to Knoxville, don't we?
Mhm.
Israel. I believe so.
Oh, that's tough.
If I'm not mistaken, we do.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than a dangerous team at home.
Especially in November.
Oh, that's the worst.
We used
Yeah.
and it's
It's
weird
y'all's
playing Auburn
fault.
this week. Yeah,
It used to be
Way
Auburn.
to go. Way to go, Auburn.
yeah. See, this is just weird. And then your game, and then we'll wrap up week 5.
Yeah. Where do y'all want to start on that?
Well, let's start with the quarterback situation.
Bo Nix played like the quarterback he always was in high school. He played like the 5-star kid he was in high school. Like, he had a chip on his shoulder, and he went out there mad that he lost his job. And honestly, the pre-planned game plan by Bobo to take him out on the third possession and put the Finley kid in and give him a drive, I think just sped that up. Because once he came in, we didn't do anything those first 2 drives that Bo was in the ballgame.
Yeah.
And then they put Finley in. He hit that big pass, and our offensive lineman made a boneheaded decision to run 40 yards downfield and hit somebody for no reason. Bo comes back in, takes over the ball game, and it's really a different ball game from that point forward. That and the defensive adjustments that Derek Mason made. Butte had 99 yards receiving on the first drive. He had 2 receptions the rest of the game for 28 yards.
Yeah.
And they didn't score a touchdown again.
Yeah, that was some impressive coaching there in that one. And I think the adjustments, I had to point to the adjustments made because it seemed like watching it early on, I was like, okay, God, LSU. Yeah, because I picked LSU, only because it was a night game in Baton Rouge and Auburn hasn't been particularly
Understandable.
successful in those scenarios. I was like, I really don't like LSU. I was like, I want Auburn to win this game because I really don't like LSU. Coach O is, whatever. He's a fraud.
Absolutely.
And I like my guy Bobo. I was like, Coach Bobo, I worked with him back when I was at Georgia. He was on the staff as quarterback's coach, him and Coach Richt and all those. So I don't know him personally, but like I know him sort of.
Play of the game was the last drive. We had to go 98 yards to score. And that offense had supreme confidence when they went out there. They had gotten to a 3rd and 5. Bobo gave him a flare out to a running back, dumped it off to him, went 25 yards. And then he ran the play that I have been missing as an Auburn fan for 15 years since we went to that wide open spread stuff. He ran the toss sweep out of I call it the ace formation. I don't know what Bobo calls it. The single back, 2 tight formation, when one wide receiver to the short side of the field. And the wide receiver came in reverse, and it looked like they intersected when he caught the pass. And the freshman tailback for Auburn went for 45 down the sideline. I turned around, and I was just like, I looked at the people who was watching the game at me. I was like, we're going to punch this in right here. This is it. And it was it. And 2 plays later, we punched it in the end zone. I was just like, Auburn just took over the game we wore them down. Bobo wore them down on offense in the second half.
And that was the most confident I'd seen this Auburn offense. You get false confidence against the first 2 opponents you guys played, so I don't really count that. But against a opponent that can punch back, this was the most confident I'd seen their offense.
And let's be honest, LSU's not the LSU team we're used to, but they still had a good defense.
Oh yeah, I mean they got talent everywhere. They just their coaching is screwing it up. I think I think
it's so bad.
They're all sorts of screwed up.
Exactly. The one thing that you spoke about earlier, the turning point in this game was when Bobo took Nix out and put Finley in, and you could tell there was a different energy when Finley got in. And you can tell he didn't like that. So when he got back in, you could just tell the whole demeanor, the way he played, the way he carried himself was totally different. Because why? Because Bobo said, if you don't do this right, you're going to sit over here on this bench and cheer your teammate on.
And you can tell that confidence comes with what? Sitting him down.
And they asked Brian Harsin after the game. They said, did y'all just feel like you needed to make a move right then? And he said, no, me and Coach Bobo didn't tell anybody, but that was the game plan the whole time. We were going to sit Bo in the 3rd series and see how he responded.
Exactly, because he'd been messing up for so long, he never had anybody behind him, but now you do. And now you know that they will pull the plug on you.
And honestly, Finley looked fine on that drive. They could have put Finley back in and nobody would have noticed. Yeah, but we needed Bo's legs that night.
Yeah, and you needed Bo. Like Bo has some sort of it factor, some sort of moxie about him.
He's Brett Favre. He'll piss you off, and then you'll love him.
That's a great comparison. Just kind of a wild card, right? So, yeah. Any other games that stood out to you guys? Like I know Oregon lost to Stanford in overtime. That was kind of weird. Cincinnati beating Notre Dame, doing all of us a favor, and beating Notre Dame, getting them out of the way. And then Michigan is undefeated. Michigan, yeah. Oh, Michigan.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, that's and we'll believe that's going to last for a while, right? So, game of the week, 2:30 CBS or 2:30 Central Time. So it's a 3:30 CBS game. Dan, Auburn comes into town, or actually, Auburn welcomes Georgia into town. I'm so used to Georgia hosting these games. Georgia comes rolling into the Plains. It's just to me, it's a scary place because weird things happen. Down in Jordan-Hare. The last time Georgia came in highly ranked, we know what happened. It was a beat down of that proportions in which we got a revenge later, but still that was not a fun contest. The last time Georgia was there, it was Georgia jumped out early, let Auburn back in the game, and it had to be a key 4th down stop to win the game. So funky things happen. Records go by the wayside. It doesn't matter. Auburn is one of the best, most hostile road environments in the conference. And so this game is never easy. I don't care how bad Auburn is. It's never easy. To me, for Georgia, you have to get the crowd out of it as quickly as you possibly can. And that's a tall order. But you have to jump on Auburn the same way you jumped on Arkansas. That's the first key. What's the next key, Israel? What else in this matchup? If you had to point to how we're going to take the crowd out of the game, what would you say? Best way to do it?
Running the football, taking the ball from under center, whether it's toss sweeps, whether it's getting the ball on the perimeter, which is just an extension of the run game anyway, and run it down the throat. That's what it's going to take to get them out of it.
Yeah. He's right there. He nailed that 100%. Auburn fans are impatient in the stands.
Yep.
If you start to impose your will running the football, we'll get irritated. Exactly why I think the way Auburn, from what I've watched, Derek Mason. So if you watched last week, which we talked about this, you guys did, against LSU. LSU abandoned the run after the second series.
Yeah.
So we brought 3 and we're getting home because we have a pretty good defensive line.
Mm-hmm. Always
and we would drop 8 in coverage. And we had a rover that would play in the middle of the field. Usually the safety was walk down as a linebacker. Mm-hmm. So what I think Auburn's going to do the exact opposite this game. Georgia doesn't really have a receiver right now. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, Karis Jackson maybe, that can beat you deep consistently. So Auburn's going to take McCreary, their best defensive back, who they put on Butte after the first series. They're going to put him on him, and Auburn's going to put a 7-man front up there, and Auburn's going to run press man this ball game.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to blitz like hell. Because
they're going to try to make Stetson take them down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what Auburn's about to do. Because Arkansas always gave you a short field last week, and Auburn's going to try to pin you deep and make you drive the length of the field.
And, for Auburn, they better find an answer for Brock Bowers. To me, I think that's one of the X factors at the tight end position. Darnell Washington is back in the lineup. He played some. He's going to be more healthy for this game, and he should be a full participant. So there's going to be some matchups in the interior of the offense that I think are going to be interesting in the pass game. And for Georgia, they're going to have to be patient, and they're going to have to be okay with those 12, 13 play drives. And they're going to have to be okay with taking what the defense is willing to give, break a few tackles and go. And of course, don't abandon the run.
Don't do it, because Auburn showed you last week we got the secondary. If you go away from it, we'll just drop back.
Yep, drop back and play everything in front. You have to,
like
you have to get them up.
Yes, like Dan just said, if you're going to rush 3 and then drop 8, now we got to find out matchups. Where do we match up well with? Well, how do their linebackers play? You got Zakoby Kane, you got Smoke Monday playing safety. So, who do we match up well with? Our receivers, depending on who's playing, our receivers can match up a little bit with their corners and stuff. But if I'm mucking, I'm playing inside with the linebackers.
Yeah, you're going to want to go inside.
That's where I'm making my money at.
You're going to want to go inside because out on Auburn, we found something with we knew what McCreary was. We knew he's a first-round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we found something with this Jalen Simpson kid. I believe he's from Savannah.
Yep, he's from Savannah.
And we found something with him. Again, we put him in after the first series against LSU, and he locked down. And then Smoke Monday is going to cover Bowers. So I wouldn't count on Bowers. Now, Smoke Monday will bust a coverage in a heartbeat, though. So you may get some running wide open.
Bowers can go, man. Bowers.
What's that little wide receiver y'all got down there?
Lad McConkey, I think.
The kid's good.
Yeah.
He's a South Georgia kid
he's
now.
He's a good little player.
Was his dad a pro player? His dad played for like the Giants or something, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think you're right.
Sounds about right.
I think he won a couple of Super Bowls with
like in the 80s.
Yeah, like Hostetler and Sims. Yeah, he's good. He doesn't strike fear in you when he walks on the field.
Chris McConkey, I think. I'm gonna look that up while you guys go on about it. But Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers are gonna have to be key pieces in this. Rosemy Jack Saint should factor back in. Arian Smith should. They're getting healthier as we go, but the wide receiver position is just so beat up.
None of this matters if Zamir White gets going. None of this matters. No. If Auburn lets Zamir White get going, it's going to be a long day.
Yes, it is. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn doesn't have Tank Bigsby healthy. I'll go ahead and let y'all know that.
That's good.
He's been banged up all season. They won't say it. I may get in trouble for saying it, but
Phil McConkey.
He's not 100%.
Yeah.
Is it his hip still? His hip still?
It's not his hip. From what I'm told, there's a quad problem there.
Oh yeah, that'll do it, especially when you're a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's no fun.
So
okay, I got your answer real quick before we go. Phil McConkey played for the Giants 1984 to 1988, then the Packers, and the Phoenix Cardinals. They were the Phoenix Cardinals then, and the Chargers.
Okay. So I was wrong. He didn't play for the Giants, but he did play in the NFL.
No, he did play for the Giants.
Oh, he did play for the Giants. Okay.
Yeah, he played for the Giants, then the Packers, Cardinals, and Chargers.
So the kid had no choice but to be a ball player.
The only other thing I've got to ask y'all is, has Stetson played a true road game like this before?
Not in this kind of environment. Like I said in my statements about Arkansas and the environment, I don't think anybody's had a true road game like this. And the closest thing he got to it was Alabama, and that was still a partial crowd.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that makes me feel pretty good, too, if we can put the game in his hands.
Yeah, we'll see how he responds to that, because that atmosphere is going to be in a frenzy. And
yeah, don't let it get to the second half.
No,
I wouldn't let it get.
I wouldn't let it get to the second quarter.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
If we've got to get out of the first quarter, because I remember 2 years ago, 2019, Georgia rolls in there. It's 21-0 after the first quarter. You could hear a pin drop, and then just all of a sudden there was a turning point in that game. I forget exactly what it was, but I think it was.
Bo started playing good.
Yeah, Bo started playing. I think Bo scored a rushing touchdown. I think that's what got it all started. I think that's what got it all started, and it was all in the fourth quarter too. Like, Auburn couldn't do anything until the fourth quarter, and then they ripped off 21 points and almost won the game.
We had a dropped Spider 2 wide banana pass that would go into the end zone. Mm-hmm. Bo hit the running back right in the hands with it, and he just dropped it, and there was nobody in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just slipped him out the backside, and he just dropped it.
Can't do that.
I remember that. Defensively, if I'm Georgia going into this, I'm hitting Bo. And I'm hitting Bo.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hitting Bo.
Here's the other observation.
I'm going to come up and I'm going to play. If I'm a defensive coordinator playing Auburn, I'm going to come up and play man, because they don't have one receiver that scares me. And I'm going to come up. I'm going to stop the run. And I'm hitting Bo every single time, just like we did a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a steady dose of Adam Anderson and Nolan Smith.
Who's the nose guard? Is that Davis?
Yeah, the runaway industrial fridge.
Yeah, I'm afraid our Auburn center may wish he's never born, because I watched that kid come in against Arkansas on the goal line, and y'all turned around and handed it to the running back, and he took out. That was the second string nose guard. That's Jalen Carter. That's great.
He's second string.
That's just great.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
He's Jordan Davis light. Davis.
No, that's what I'm worried about, is because you can't run side to side on Jordan.
No.
They're too fast.
Those linebackers are that.
But if they got two nose guards like that,
good luck.
If we get one dimensional throw on the football, it's over with before it starts.
Yeah, because then you got Anderson. Then you got Anderson and Nolan Smith coming off the edge. They're gonna blitz Nakobe Dean coming up the middle. I
tell you what Bobo will do. He'll do what he did against LSU this past week, and we'll have 15 passes to tight ends from the state of Georgia, Fromm and John Samuel Shanker.
If they really want an edge, they need to pop in that cocktail party film from last year and run those rail routes.
I don't know. Outside, I mean, I think it'll be a good game just because this game's always in Jordan-Hare Stadium, like you stated earlier. It's
always good.
It's just one of those games. It's going to come down to special teams. Auburn's going to have to take some shot plays. Auburn hasn't taken enough shot plays this year. We didn't take them against Penn State. We didn't take them against LSU. We didn't take them against Georgia State. I mean,
I thought the play calling was way too conservative against Penn State. I mean, you're on the road. You're not really expected to win that game. You know, why not be super aggressive? And the one time you were super aggressive, probably. I mean, you know, you do a double reverse deep in your territory.
That was wide open on the backside for the run, though. Kobe Hudson had it out the back door if he just carried the ball, not like a quarterback. If he tucked it and ran it like a wide. But, you know, Kobe made a lot of plays early in that game, so I'm not going to fault him for that. We don't score the first touchdown if Kobe doesn't make that back shoulder reception. I mean, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
true.
Kobe was trying to make a play, made a mistake. It happens on the road. That's the most raucous environment I've ever seen. LSU can claim Death Valley all they want to. Go and play Penn State on a whiteout. I've never seen anything like that.
I think it's the largest outdoor stadium in the world, right?
And I said when that game was over, I talked to Israel the next day or two, and I was like, I promise you, if you asked Penn State if they wanted to go another round, I don't think they would have wanted to go another round.
No, I think if you added one more quarter on that game, I think Auburn runs away with that. I mean, they were starting to wear them down. They just ran out of time. Auburn
made mistakes that a first-year coach in a big environment like that makes. I like Auburn. I personally like Auburn's coach. This year's going to be a struggle. We know it's going to be a struggle.
And I wonder how much trust does Bobo have in Nick's going into this weekend, knowing the defense that he's going to face. Against LSU, you kind of know what you're going to get. You know, you can kind of get him with some stuff and stuff like that. But does Bobo trust Nick's enough to kind of let him play ball?
He's going to have to. He's got no choice.
I think if Bo doesn't come out there and just make boneheaded decisions, I don't think Bobo is going to pull him this week. We know what we're up against. Like, this is the best team in the country we're playing. I don't care what the ranking is. This is the best team in the country. I don't think many people can, you know, Herb Street made a comment that Iowa is better than Georgia, but I'd like to see Iowa score 3 points because that lining up and running it downhill is not going to work.
Iowa would get the Arkansas treatment plus some.
Yeah. No, Auburn's playing the best team in the country this year. I mean, coming out of LSU, I feel like we can give you a game. And I'm not one of these crazy Auburn fans. It's just like, hey, we're going to go out, we're going to do this, we're going to win. No, there's about 1,000 things that have to happen in order, and Jesus coming back is about 1,001. So,
I love it, man. I love it.
My boy.
Let's have a good time.
Yeah, let's do it. It's gonna be a fun game. It always is. It always is a fun game. So, we're gonna kick off our pick segment. Dan, you get to enjoy this. We're gonna kick off our pick segment with the Georgia Auburn game from Jordan-Hare 2:30 kick. Georgia is favored by 14.5. Dan, I'll start with you. Does Auburn cover? Yes or no?
I'm going to take them because if I don't, the Auburn people who watch this will shun me. So yes, I'll take Auburn. I think Georgia will beat us like 27-17.
Fair enough. Israel, does Georgia cover? Does Auburn cover? How do you see it?
Georgia's going to cover simply because they're going to rattle Bo Nix. They rattle Bo Nix. We're going to get the ball back a little bit more. We're going to have more possessions than they will be simply from the fact of we're going to rattle Bo Nix and we're going to rattle the offensive line to where when Finley does come in, he ain't going to be able to get a pass off either. So we're going to have ample opportunities to make the ball. As long as we don't turn the ball over, do anything stupid, I think we'll cover.
Absolutely. I think if we, barring complete catastrophe, I think we cover late. It's going to be tight for a little while, but I think Bo Nix, with the hits that pile up, I think eventually it's going to cause him to make a couple crucial mistakes late in the third, early in the fourth. It's going to essentially blow this game open. And when I say blow this game open, it's going to give Georgia a 17-point win. So I don't know. I think Georgia's going to cover in this one. Arkansas licking their wounds, traveling down to Ole Miss, who is also licking their wounds from beatdowns from the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country. Ole Miss is favored by 6 coming into this matchup. Matt Corral looking for a bounce back here. Arkansas is a team looking for a bounce back. How do we see this one, Dan?
I'm taking Ole Miss all the way right here. I still don't think Arkansas's got enough offense.
Israel?
I'm going to have to go with Ole Miss on this one, simply because if Jefferson plays and he's not 100% and he's able to use his legs, he's still not good to him. So I'm going to take Ole Miss in this one.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to take Ole Miss as well. I think they have – yeah, I'm writing it down, yeah. I'm taking Ole Miss here too as well. I think – they have the propensity to turn this thing into a track meet, and if they do, that favors them. And so I think they win and get the cover. So, Dan, Vanderbilt at Florida. The line, yeah, you ready for this? The line is minus 38.
That's more than the tickets cost.
Exactly. Does Florida cover this?
They cover it and then some. I mean, Vanderbilt can't. Who even plays for Vanderbilt?
This guy named Ken Seals.
What, that Bolivis kid that missed the field goal against Auburn in 2009 for Bama? He plays for him. I do know that. Yeah, that's right.
There you go. And then there's a guy from Fayetteville, Georgia, that plays in there. Mike Wright, the quarterback. That's who should be.
Look, I wish the best for Vanderbilt because it is fun when they're good, but it's just been a long time.
Yeah. Israel?
I'm taking Vandy. I don't think Florida can do it.
You don't think they
Vandy's defense ain't bad. And judging by what Kentucky was able to do last week and the fact that they don't know what they want to do offensively, I'm taking Vandy. I don't think they can cover 38 points. I'm taking Vandy.
I think they can.
I'm starting to wonder if Florida can even score 38 points. It's going to be a noon kick. It's going to be a boring game. Vanderbilt's going to kind of lull them to sleep. Vanderbilt's going to. I think Vanderbilt will sneak a touchdown in there and it'll ruin the cover. Israel,
exactly.
I'm going to go with Vandy here too. Why? Because I want it to happen.
0.
I want
it's
them to
going
cover.
to be 38-0 in the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes left, and Vandy's going to score.
If that happens, I'll be very mad.
But ask me if I'm going to put any real money on this. Hail to the no. All right.
No, absolutely not.
All right. Well, South Carolina comes calling to Rocky Top. Noon kick. Tennessee favored by 10.5. Can they win and cover? Can they make it 2 in a row?
This was tough. South Carolina's defense was pretty good, but I got to go.
I'm taking South Carolina. I don't trust Tennessee to do it 2 times in a row. I just don't.
Israel, you're taking Carolina too?
No, I'm taking Tennessee in this one. I think it's going to be loud in Rocky Top after that whooping they put on Missouri. They have faith, which means there's going to be a lot of people in the stadium, checkerboard everywhere, and I think they pull it off.
And here I thought I was going to be. Here, I thought I was going to be the only one to take Tennessee. I think this point spread scares me, but ultimately, no.
This would be the signature win for Beamer this year.
I kind of hope you're right. I mean, I don't hope you're wrong. I'll say that. LSU comes to the grocery bag. They are 3-point underdogs. Kentucky favored at home. How do we see this one, Dan?
I'm going Kentucky. I kind of gave that one away earlier.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Israel, are we making a clean sweep?
I'm going Kentucky. LSU don't know what they want to do offensively either.
Clean sweep. All right, Bama A&M. Bama is favored on the road at Kyle Field by 17.5. How have the mighty have fallen? We thought this was going to be a game to win the West, and right now this is a game to see if Texas A&M can keep Bama under 50. How do we see it, Dan? Can Bama cover? Yeah, can Bama cover that?
Yeah, they'll cover 17.5.
Yeah, I think so too. Israel, clean sweep.
If Johnny Manziel's not playing, then yes, Bama's going to cover that, and then some.
Well, our next SEC game, it's an SEC game disguised as a Big 12 game. It is the Red River Shootout, and I don't care what you say, it is the Red River Shootout. Oklahoma favored by 3.5 as they are the neutral road team in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. That's where game day is going to be. Are you a Spencer Rattler believer, or can Sark and the Longhorns get it done?
Look, Rattler's a good player. He's also a head case. If they were playing in the SEC this year, people would be talking about him just like they talked about Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd take Bo Nix 10 times out of 10 over.
I'm taking Texas with that line. I think Texas beats them outright.
Hell yeah. It's essentially a pick 'em.
Texas plays hard, and OU soft as cotton.
That's right. Israel?
I'm taking the Longhorns.
I think I kind of gave it away. I
can't. To.
Oklahoma's been skirting
right now.
They've been skirting by all year long. Eventually, they're going to get bit. And Texas, I think, is the team to do it. They're going to get bit.
Exactly how I feel.
All right, let's see if we can find us a really, really good spread to end on.
What about Iowa, Penn State?
Yeah, let's look at that one. All right. Iowa, Penn State. That is a 3 o'clock kick, or actually a 4 o'clock kick, 3 Central, from Kinnick Stadium.
Game of the week.
Yep, Herb Street's game of the week. Iowa's favored by 2, so essentially it's a pick 'em. Dan?
I'm going to go Penn State since they beat us. It looks better if they win.
There you go. Israel.
Where's this game being played at?
Iowa.
Ooh.
Iowa City.
Hard
so
place to win.
Penn State's going to be in the pink locker room.
I think I got to go with. I'm going Penn State on this one. I think they pull it off. I think they can. If they can stop the run, and they can at least move the football and change field position, I think Penn State has a really good chance to win this football game.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson is a special dude. Sean Clifford couldn't cover him. I think that's going to be the X factor. Iowa struggles. They struggle to move the ball at times, especially when teams kind of figure out their run patterns. I kind of favor Iowa here, but I think Penn State's going to win it. So I'm going to take the Nittany Lions here on the road, which is a tough place to go. And then New Mexico, San Diego State. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to pick that line. But, we go deep here on the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast. So, Dan, it was a pleasure to have you on. We're gonna wrap up right there. Dan, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at hang on just a second. I don't remember it anymore.
He's so
it's been on there so long. At Dan Rog, spell my first name kind of funny, DANNROG.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram's the same thing, just with a 9 on the end of it, Dan Rog 9.
Dan Rog 9. All right, you heard it here first. Dan Rog 9. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us. You see it scrolling. Find our YouTube channel. Hit that bell notification so you can get all the new content. And so you can stay up to date with us. And, we thank you for watching. We thank you for listening wherever you find your podcast. Subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you leave a rating if you're on Apple. But you can find us anywhere you find your podcast. You can check us out on YouTube as well. Also Facebook Live, and all of those good places you can check us out. So follow us. Get on board, man. It's a fast-moving train, Dan. We thank you. Coach Com, I got to get on board with Coach Com.
Appreciate you guys having me. Anytime Absolutely. You guys want to talk some ball, I'll be open. Doesn't have to be Auburn. Cool. Bring it on. We'll keep that in the back pocket, and
we'll definitely want to have you back. So, Dan, appreciate it, man. And we are the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network and Brinks TV, presented by BetOnline.ag, and a very special sponsor tonight, Coach Com. Want to give a shout out to them as well. Have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. And of course, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
This is the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network.